That's what you get when you log into Canvas. This is what comes up for chemistry. So this is your bioorganic chemistry. This is where we're going to do everything. Everything's going to occur in Canvas and then through Connect with McGraw-Hill for your labs. Okay. We'll show you everything that we do here. So this is our introduction here. There is a video I just added on how to use Connect to get it. If you go to the home page and right here where it says class information, this big blue button, if you click on that, okay, at the bottom here, there's something that says link to McGraw-Hill Connect. You click on that and it's a video of how to access Connect and get started with that to help you. That's by McGraw-Hill. Okay, that's just to help you get Connect. But all you do for it, okay, from the home page, if you look on the left side of the screen, you'll see a McGraw-Hill Connect right there on the left side. Just click on that and follow the directions to get your Connect access. Go through Canvas. That way it logs into the right course. And that way it comes right back to me so I can see all the grades and all things you've accomplished. Okay. So basically, the left side of the screen is going to have all the information that you need. Your grades, your modules, discussion groups, things like that. Your grades are your responsibility to make sure everything's being recorded correctly. Okay, if there's a discrepancy in it, let me know, email me, text me, and we'll go through it. Everything goes through modules. That's where we're going to run the class. Okay, so we're ready to begin the class. You're going to click on modules. Okay, and this is what comes up. Okay, start with basic information. You can run through the introduction here, basic information. Okay, 16 weeks class, modules for each class. You have PowerPoint, video, homework, and quizzes. Okay, use the question and answer form anytime you want during class or after. I'll be able to respond to discussion boards. Okay, and then when you're done reading that page, you click next and go to the next page. Okay, and it gives you an introduction to this class. Okay, introductory class to organic and biochemistry. Okay, it tells you what the course is going to cover, what it's good for. Okay, the textbook, frequent asked questions. The textbook is General Organic and Biochemistry by Dennison, and we're using the 9th edition. Okay, will you use a textbook? Yes, I'm going to go through the class is going to be organized to follow the textbook. You will have all the PowerPoints, just like you had a class before. All the PowerPoints follow the textbook. We're going to go right in order. We're going to start on chapter 10. Chapters 1 through 9 is your general chemistry. Chapters 10 through, I believe it's 15 is organic. 16 through 23 is your biochemistry. Okay, we're going to follow that right in order. Okay, there's going to be questions from the textbook, so it's beneficial to have the textbook. Class will take 4 to 7 hours a week, depending on your abilities to comprehend what you're reading. And there is no extra credit. There's a lot of ways to have credit in this class. There's a lot of lab assignments. There's going to be 4 homework assignments. Okay, there's multiple ways to earn credits for this class, and I'll show you how we do that. Okay, and if anyone has questions about talking, just interrupt me. Just let me know. Okay, that's not a problem. And I lost my chat box. Here it is. There's a chat from Sheena, is that it?
It's Shanae. I was just putting that whoever didn't get the book is on Amazon for $12.
That's a good deal. So Amazon, $12 for the textbook.
I tried buying it from Axel McKesson and it was like $96 or something like that.
Yeah, much better to get it for $12. It's the same book. That's good. That's a great deal on it. Okay. And back here is next. Okay, course objectives. This tells you what is required of the course, what you're going to be learning about, different organic structures, isomers, DNA, the TCA cycle, how your body makes glucose and how it utilizes glucose and everything else. Okay. There's going to be a lot of material in this class. It's going to be a slower pace than I'm used to going. In other words, there's a lot of material, and the material is not like with anatomy. I'll go through 3 chapters in one lecture. I'm not going to do that in chemistry. Okay. There's just, everything is very specific. So we're going to have 2 lectures for every chapter, which you'll be able to understand it. We're able to discuss it. You're able to learn the stuff that you're going to need for your nursing boards, for your pharmacology boards, things like that. You're learning that you can actually use as you go on with your education. That's your objectives. Okay. Contact information. This is the important part. Never be afraid to contact me. Okay. There's all kinds of ways to contact me. The easiest way is my email. And it's sgodold@cmccd.edu. And I check my emails multiple times during the day. And I usually respond extremely quickly and at least within 24 hours. Okay. So even in my office seeing patients, in between patients, I'm always checking my emails. So if you have a question, you can always email me. The school phone number. I don't have an office at school. I'm an adjunct faculty. So if you call that number, it goes to a place that I don't even know where it's at. So, but there is a school number that you can leave a message at, and it will give me a voice message to my email. All right. Best way to do it is my office phone number, my dental office. Got to go right to the office. My receptionist, they always know where I'm at. Okay. They'll take a message and make sure I get it. If you want to text me, there's my cell phone number too. You can text me. So you can email, you can text, you can call my office, any way to get a hold of me. I don't mind going over things with people. I love questions and I love challenges. Okay. If you want to get together like a Zoom meeting on a Saturday with 3 or 4 people, like a study group, I'm more than happy to do that. Okay. A Sunday, after work on, before class on Monday or Tuesday, something like that. I've got no problem doing that. Okay. If you want to get together somewhere and physically get in contact, and if you learn better that way, I can meet somewhere in a park. I meet somewhere at someone's home. If you have a small group, that's fine. I don't mind doing that either. I want to make sure you guys have the opportunity to learn all this stuff and understand it. Okay. You can also ask questions on the discussion board. I'll monitor those. Okay. Make sure everybody's on that. So there's multiple ways to get a hold of me. So don't hesitate to use any of those that you're comfortable with. Okay. So that's your contact information. Okay, this is the discussion board. This is like where you raise a hand. Okay, here's one question already. I haven't checked it yet. It was yesterday's. I was just wondering if you go by the syllabus due dates for homework, or everything is due on May the 25th. Okay, most of the stuff is going to be due on May 25th. All the quizzes, just you have the whole semester to do it, to plan it how you want to take it. Okay, so all the quizzes are open. You can work ahead. You can go with me and go as step by step, however it's best for you. Okay. There would be 4 homework assignments. Those are going to be on due dates. There'll be a midterm and a final. Those will be on the specific dates. Okay. The McGraw-Hill and everything is due through the semester. You work at your own pace on that. Okay. But this is where you can ask questions here, and we can respond to that. And all students can see that too. Okay. The syllabus. The syllabus is a guideline. We're going to go as fast or as slow as everybody is able to understand. And it's a little harder online, but if people ask questions and I need to take a little bit more time with certain subjects because you want to learn more about it, I am more than happy to do that. So that the syllabus is our guideline. It's not written in stone, except for the final date and the midterm dates. Those are written in stone. Okay. And how we're going to work the midterm and the final is it going to be open for 24 hours on that day. You'll log on, you'll have either 2.5 or 3.5 hours, depending which one, and you'll do your exam. Okay, but you get to pick that block that suits you best. It'll be open for 24 hours.
Do we still have class on those days?
No, just be the midterm, just be the final.
And for the quizzes, are they like, can you take them more than one time, or is it just one and done?
No, it's one time, but you have an hour to do it. It's only 5 questions.
Okay.
Okay, you have an open book with the quizzes. They're very straightforward questions. Okay, good. And the syllabus. You click on here for the syllabus, and the syllabus should pop up. Maybe. Okay. Everybody see the syllabus?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so bioorganic chemistry. There's your course. Here's your course description, what it covers, what we're going to focus on, and all that good stuff. These are your student learning objectives, what you're going to accomplish in this course. So we're going to write organic molecular structures. People that had me before, I did a little bit of this in class. We're going to go into a lot of detail. All those funny pictures you see when you buy drugs, not buy drugs like illegal, but drugs from the pharmacy. Okay, they come to these little packets. They have these little funny drawings on them. You're able to draw those drawings. You're able to know what they mean, what they stand for, how they interact with the body, what kind of shape they take on. Remember the Vesper theory? I'm not seeing anybody shaking their head. Valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. We did a little bit in chemistry in Chem 3. That determines the shape of these molecules because everything works by shape in the human bodies. Okay, if something has the same shape, it can trigger that receptor. Okay, just like heroin is not a drug the body produces, but it has an effect on the body. Okay, because it mimics a shape. Heroin is actually converted to morphine. Morphine mimics the shape of endorphins, then it relates to the pleasure center of the brain. So everything's determined by these shapes of these molecules, how they can bind to receptors. And we'll go through all that. So you're able to write different molecular structures for all the different functional groups: alcohols, carboxylic acids, ammonia compounds, ketones, aldehydes, all the functional groups. And we'll learn all those groups. You'll be able to identify functional groups. You'll be able to tell what is an alcohol, what's a carboxylic acid, what's an aldehyde, what's an amine, what's an amide. Okay, you determine all that. We identify different isomers. Remember we talked about isomers before in Chem 3. Isomers are the same chemical formula, different chemical structure. Okay, so if it's C6H12O6, which is glucose, has the same chemical structure, but it's shaped differently. It's like your right and left hands. Okay, your hands are similar. They're the same thing, right? But they're not exactly the same. You can't put them on top of each other. You can't superimpose them. So they're different structures. Those are what's called stereoisomers. We'll get into that too. You're going to try the functions of proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids. Okay, how the body functions, how we utilize those things, what the brain uses, what the muscles use. Okay, how we store things in the body so we can have our energy. Define glycolysis, the TCA cycle, and oxidative phosphorylation. How we use glucose, how it's broken down, how glucose forms ATP in our body. Okay, the amount of ATP. We run through the different Krebs cycle. How much ATP is formed for each cycle for every one glucose. We would calculate all that out. We would determine how much energy your body actually needs. Okay. Number 6, define nucleotide synthesis and DNA structure. Okay, we'll go over the DNA structure, the double helix, the genetic coding information and how it's bred, how it's duplicated, how mutations occurred that allow for evolution. Okay, how that material actually goes from the DNA into the cells to make specific proteins that have our body function, why it does it and how it does it. We're going to understand protein synthesis and enzyme functions. Your body cannot function without enzymes. Enzymes are a catalyst. Who remembers the definition of a catalyst? Don't everybody speak at once.
It speeds up the reaction process.
What's that? I thought I heard something.
It speeds up the reaction process.
Perfect. That's what, there's two things. One thing, it speeds up the reaction process. Lowers the activation energy, lets your reaction occur faster. Exactly. And what's the second thing? It doesn't get used up. It gets regenerated at the end of the reaction. Okay, it comes in, and when the reaction occurs, it gets regenerated. So it speeds up a reaction, lowers the activation energy by doing, that's how it speeds up the reaction, and it does not get used up by the reaction. That's a catalyst. Okay, and enzymes are biochemical catalysts, the catalysts in the body. Okay, because reactions, I mean, you've done experiments in chemistry where you got to heat things up to really high temperatures and the reactions go faster and all kinds of good stuff like that. Can't do that in the body. You can't heat our body to 100 degrees centigrade and expect reactions to occur. So the enzymes are the catalysts that allow the reactions to occur at normal body temperature. Okay, that's why they're so important. We're able to connect information gained from textbook reading, problem solving, and lectures to other disciplines. Okay, I love medical problems. Yeah, I'm going to bring a lot of different disciplines. I do a lot of forensics. That's my specialty. I do expert witness testimony. I testify in court in California and Arizona. So I get a lot of cases, and I'll bring some of those into class with us. So I'm able to go through those and see what the difference are. I do malpractice cases, and we'll look at cases of things that have happened in the past, all kinds of different disciplines. Okay, and how chemistry relates to that. How it's it's a way to train your brain to think, which is really important in what the field you guys are going into. Observe the complexity of biochemical and physiological systems and compare them to other systems, how they react, what happens in the body with these chemical reactions. Okay, the different poisons, what happens to the body, because it can be reversible, or can it be reversible or irreversible, and why? What makes a poison irreversible? Okay, different ones have different features. What makes a poison undetectable? You don't really need that, but that's okay. We don't need to go over that one too much. Where we at? Understand the relationship between individual health and the environment to current issues in society. That's why we're online here, because of COVID. Understand how that works, why it works, the chemical process behind it. Okay, is our response correct to COVID? Have we succeeded in eliminating it? Okay, there's all kinds of chemical issues, and there's all kinds of moral and ethical issues that go along with it. Okay, Einstein, one of Einstein's greatest quotes was just because we can, should we? Just because we can do something, does that mean we should do it? And that was the Manhattan Project with the atomic bomb in World War II. Okay, so there's a lot of things we're going to cover, and it's going to be a lot of fun doing it. I really love teaching chemistry. This is my favorite. Organic chemistry and biochemistry are my favorite things. That's my favorite thing to teach. The student learning objectives, we're going to evaluate those through lectures, exams, labs, practicums, homework assignments, and quizzes. Our courses meets Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 to 9:05. When we're done, we're done. If we cover a certain amount, I just stop whenever we're done. I'm not going to keep you here until 9:05 if we don't have anything more to talk about. So we're good. And I'll always say and answer questions. Okay, you always have my undivided attention for those hours. You are not penalized for not attending a lecture. You don't get credit for it either. Okay, these are strictly to help you understand organic chemistry. Organic chemistry is one of the toughest classes you're going to have. Okay, and I'm here to help you understand it. And if you go with me, I can usually make it make sense. So it's for your benefit to click on. Let me know how you're doing, and we'll be able to discuss things as we go. Okay, but I understand life happens. I understand emergencies that happen. I understand things happen, and that's why everything I say is going to be recorded. I'm going to put it through Premiere Pro. I'm going to edit it, modify it, get it all set, record it, and then stick it onto Canvas through a YouTube video. It'll have closed caption. So in case you have trouble hearing me sometimes, I do talk fast sometimes, you'll have closed caption with it when you can review the videos. Okay, so everything's here to help you succeed. That's my main goal. Again, that's the day and times, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, sometimes Tuesdays, I work till 5, have an emergency. I'm usually done by 6, so we should have no problems. And I should be able to get internet wherever I go. I do a lot of traveling. Like this Thursday, I'm going to be at Camp Pendleton, but I'll have the class. I mean, we'll be in my RV. We have a new travel trailer. It's really cool. We're going to set up going down Camp Pendleton. We're still on the beach for 4 days, just the dog and relax. And I'll have the internet set up, and I'll do my lecture right from there. Okay. So those are lecture days. I'll be office hours. I had to put something. I put Thursday morning, but it's flexible. Completely whatever you want. I'll be available Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday lecture. I teach also human anatomy. That's my Monday and Wednesday class. Okay. Then chemistry is Tuesdays and Thursdays. But around those other times, and when I'm not, seeing patients, I'll be more than happy to meet with people in person or meet with them in a Zoom meeting that we set up. I can always set up a quick Zoom meeting. If you have a study group you want, I'm more than happy to work with you, especially going over homework, things like that. The textbook is right there. General organic and biochemistry, Denison, and Connect. And that's all you need. That's all you need for the class. Okay. When you get Connect, make sure you go through Canvas. Don't just go to the McGraw-Hill site and get Connect. It has no idea what class is going to key it to. If you go through Canvas, the class is keyed in and it goes right into my class. So that's exactly how to do it. Course policies. A lot of this has changed with the online situation. Attendance, we went over. Drop policies. If you need to drop, the different dates, the responsibility of knowing when the dates are. Makeup exams are very hard to do. I will do some makeup exams. Usually if you're active duty and you get assignment, you get a TAD somewhere and the things change. I know that happens. I'll work with you as best I can. Okay. But like I said, the exams, you're going to 24-hour block. Whatever's convenient for you, you should be able to work that out and fit that in there. Lab safety, it's really not applicable because you're not going to be dropping any chemicals on anybody. Code of conduct, the one thing we have, if you're in a noisy environment, if you have kids running around, that's fine. Just mute yourselves when you have background noises so everybody else doesn't hear it. And when you want to ask a question, unmute yourself. That's the best way to do it. Okay, that way it just doesn't transmit across the whole Zoom meeting. Okay, that's our code of conduct. And you have respect. If someone asks a question, just respect the question. I love questions. There's no such thing as a bad question or a dumb question. Because if you're asking a question, it means you're listening to me. And that's what I want. Okay, never be afraid to ask a question. I'll never criticize it, and I'll always try to explain as best I can. Okay, so just have patience with everybody else because everybody learns at their own pace. Okay, so never be afraid to ask questions. Media devices, we're using our media devices right now. Email policies. When you email me, put a little note that says anatomy or chemistry so I know where it's coming from. That way I don't have to go back and look it up in all my class schedule. Just put a little note, anatomy, chemistry, I don't know where it's coming from that way, since I'm teaching 2 classes this semester. I usually respond within 24 hours. Usually it's within a couple hours I can respond. I check my email very often. I get bored between patients at work, so I check my email a lot. Okay, but definitely within 24 hours. Students with disability, if you have through access, okay? If you need extra time for things, other accommodations, okay, they'll give you accessing. You can email, they'll email that to me, or you'll email that to me, and I'll be able to work with you to help you understand what you have so we can meet your needs. Okay, so it's still that access and disability is still in effect even though we're online. Okay, and I'll definitely work with you to meet those needs. Equal opportunity, academic integrity. Basically, don't cheat because you're only going to cheat yourselves. You really are. It's an online class. I understand you'll be able to use books and things like that. I don't want quotes from Google, but I don't mind you using your books and the lecture notes and things we've talked about because sometimes it's going to vary. Okay, and I'm going to look for what we discussed. Let's see, that's all consequences of it. What constitutes cheating? You can read all those different examples, but we all know that. All right, here is our general chemistry schedule. And like I said, this is not written in stone. This is our general guideline that we're going to follow. I'm not going to jump around. I'm not going to go from chapter 10 to something I want to talk about in chapter 15, back to chapter 20, back to number 11. I think that confuses students more than anything. Okay, I'm going to follow my guideline here. The dates may change a little bit because, like I said, sometimes we'll go faster, sometimes we'll go slower, depending on everybody's understanding the material and how I feel everybody's understanding the material. Okay, so this is our guideline, but I'm going to follow the order so you'll know what to prepare for. You'll know when I'm finished with chapter 10, read chapter 11 in advance. Okay, print out the PowerPoints for chapter 10 before Thursday if you want to take notes. A lot of students do it on the computer. A lot of students like old-fashioned pen and paper. Okay, if you go to the library at school, I don't know if I make an appointment now, I'm not quite sure, but if you go to the library at school, they will print out the PowerPoints for you if you don't have access to a printer at home. Okay, they'll print them out. So you'll have the PowerPoints in front of you. So when I'm talking, you can take notes on it. A lot of students like to do it that way. Okay, so if you don't have access to a printer, just go to the library. You might have to call them first. I'm not sure. I don't know what all the protocols are right now as the school's handling all this. Okay, but you go down there, they'll print out the PowerPoints for you. So you'll have that for the lectures. Okay, and if you can, it's advantageous to read the chapter before. Even if you don't understand it all, just skim through it so you know what I'm going to be talking about, so you know what to ask questions about. You'll know what you don't understand. I don't expect you to sit there, read an organic chemistry book and go, oh, I understand that. It's not like reading a novel. It's not going to happen. But glance through it, read the concepts, and that way, if you have certain things that you really understand, you'll know what I'm going to talk about, and what to ask me. It'll help you learn. It'll help you with the class. All right. So February 2nd, that's today. Review general chemistry, chapters 1 through 9. That's the textbook. You have any questions on that, we'll go over it. I'm going to go over a couple little things like balancing equations, which we have to use. oxidation numbers, things like that. Things that I think you have to know for the class. Okay, this is not a math class. Okay, there was a lot of math and chemistry, understand that. We need some basic math, but nothing that's gonna be complex. If you have any questions about showing, I'll go over it easily. There's nothing, we're not going to do conversions. We're not gonna do all the math stuff that we did in general chemistry. Okay, this is organic chemistry. You are gonna have to balance equations. So you're gonna have to count elements. You're gonna have to be able to use oxidation numbers, think of how the numbers work. We're gonna do equilibrium constants. So you're gonna have to do some exponents. But I'll show you how to do that. And that's about it. Okay. And so don't panic if you think it's gonna be a big math class. It's not. Chem 3 was a much bigger math class than this. All right. So we got general chemistry, review questions. Actually, I'll probably start lecturing chapter 10 on Thursday because I don't think we have enough stuff to review. I looked through everything. Most people should be familiar with most of the stuff that we're going to use. So we'll go chapter 10 on Thursday, then Tuesday and Thursday, again, chapter 10. Chapter 11, you notice every chapter has 2 lectures. So I'll be able to spread it out, make concepts easy, and work at an easy pace because I know it's difficult concepts. So there's be plenty of time for questions, plenty of time to do examples. Okay. And like I said, I love questions. I can come up with chemical equations off the top of my head. People who have had me before, they know I can come up with a lot of stuff off the top of my head. Okay. It's not a problem. And it'll help you to learn things. So 11, 12, 13. The first homework is going to be due on 25th of February. The first homework is going to cover chapters, I wrote it down, 10 and 11. I haven't got those on there yet. And it's already done. I haven't done the 2, 3, and 4 yet. So each homework will be due on those days. The midterm exam is going to cover chapters 10 through 15. That's going to be on March 30th. Okay. Like I said, it'll be available that whole day for 24 hours. Whenever you want to take it, I think it's a 2.5 hour exam. Or 2.5 or 3 hours, not sure yet. Set aside 2.5 hours, log on. You got 2.5 hours to take it. Okay, whenever it's convenient for you. But you got to do it that day because everybody takes it at the same time. Same day, not the same time, sorry. Then chapter 16, 17, 18, 19, so on. All the chapters listed right there. Homework 3, homework 4, and then your final exam is May 25th. Okay, all the quizzes have to be done by the 25th of May. All the assignments through Connect have to be done by the 25th of May. Like I said, work at your own pace because the labs are a little bit different. There are a lot of biological labs and they're not going to match the lecture all the time. Okay, they're going to have different concepts, can allow you to explore different options and different things and different learning possibilities. Respiration's on there, carbohydrates are on there, how to handle lipids are on there, all kinds of enzymes are on there. And it's going to be, they're very good labs. I really enjoy doing them. The labs themselves are done very well. And I'll show you how we're going to grade the labs. I think that's on here too. Okay, grading of the class. That's what everybody wants to know, right? By the way, these little cups work great. This is one of those Ember cups that they keep things warm. It's a Bluetooth. You set it the temperature on your phone. And I usually have tea. My wife got this for me for Christmas this year. And it keeps things hot for hours. They're really nice. This little plug there. I don't have any stock invested in or anything like that. All right. So grading. 90 to 100 is an A. 80 to 89 is a B. 70 to 79 is a C. 60 to 69 is a D. Less than 60 is an F. That being said, I grade on a curve. Like you had my class before, you know how that works. Okay. The curve will never hurt your grade. Okay. If you have a 91 in the class, you have an A no matter what the curve says. If you earn more than 90%, you're going to have an A. The curve will never go lower than that. It will never hurt you. It will only help. Okay. If half the class gets 60 or 70, then 80 and up is going to be an A. Okay. It's curved on how the class does. Okay. If you want to guarantee yourself an A, get above 90%. You want to guarantee a B, get above 80%. Okay. Most of the time, it drops down to about 83, 85 and up is an A. Goes down like 70, 73 is a B and up. That's averages. It all depends how the class does. I will curve it because I figure that's a representation of how I'm teaching, how you're learning, the average of the class. Okay. So I do use a curve, but the curve will never hurt your grade. I mean, if 25 people get 93%, I'm going to give 25 A's. I'm not going to curve it so it breaks that down. If you're above 90%, no matter what the curve, you will have an A. Is that making sense to people? So it will curve, and the curve will only help you. But if you want to guarantee you have that A, get 90 or above %.
So just to clarify, if let's say everybody in the class, like the highest grade was a 69 and the lowest grade was a 68. I mean, 60, does that make a 60 an A or 60 the 69 an A because it's the highest grade?
If the highest grade in the class is 69, I'll sign that an A.
Okay.
Yes. That's not going to happen. I can tell you right now, I've had these people in class before. I can tell you right now, 3 or 4 people are going to definitely go above 95%.
I was just trying to use a drastic example
Right.
to clarify.
Yeah, that's right. The highest grade in the class will always be an A, because that's the best you can do. I mean, that's the understanding of the material. Okay, so it will go on a curve. But like I said, that curve will never hurt you from the basic standard. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right, so here's our grades. The chapter lecture quiz at the end of every chapter, and I'll show you this when we go through the modules. There's a quiz. Chapter 10 has a quiz. Chapter 11 has a quiz. Each quiz is worth 5 points. Okay, when we go with the chapter, I recommend you take the quiz. You got an hour to do it. It's open book, open notes. Okay, there's 5 questions and it's 5 points. Okay, there's 14 chapters. You got a total of 70 points. The midterm is 150 points. Okay, final is 250 points. Homework assignments, those 4 homework assignments, everyone's worth 25 points. So you have 100 points just by doing your homework assignments. Okay, I give you multiple, because I know some people are not great at taking tests. I know that. It's not a reflection of you. It's just some people have a hard time with tests. So I give you other opportunities of ways to earn points in the class. Okay, homework is, there's 25 points each. There's 4 of them. That's 100 points. The labs, there's 20 labs that are assigned. Okay, each one's worth 5 points. When you look at the Connect, there'll be labs and then there'll be assignments at the end of like 3 or 4 labs. So you like 3 or 4 labs, each one's worth 5 points. Then you have an assignment, which is worth 20 points. There's 6 assignments and there's 20 labs. That's 220 points, almost as much as the final. Okay, so every lab you can do multiple times. You go back as many times as you want to get the full points for your lab. Okay, so if you mess up on it, go back and do it again. You have infinite tries on the labs. The lab assignments, okay, those are the questions. You have 2 tries. So if you go through it once and blow it, look at the questions you missed. Go back and fix those questions. Okay, so you have 2 tries for the lab assignments. Does that make sense, everybody? I see some people nodding heads. Okay, perfect. So the total points is 790 points. That's how much you can earn in class. And then we do a percentage of that to determine your breakdown. If you get 790 points, you got 100%. And this just breaks down what we talked about. The chapter lecture quizzes, okay, the midterm final lecture exams, homework assignments, lab assignments, extra credit, no extra credit, okay? So do the stuff and the work you have, you'll have enough credits to get good grades in the class. If you want to appeal the grade, it's the same procedures we've always done through Cotton Mountain College. Grade notification, the drop policy is still the same. I'm not going to drop anybody unless they ask to be dropped, because you don't have to attend the lecture. So if you don't attend the lecture, I'm not going to drop you. But I do want you to do the work. I mean, I want to see progress of you actually doing the work and working on things. Okay, the syllabus can change. Like I said, I'm not going to jump around on you. I'm going to go right in order, but the dates may vary as you go with the class. It's not written in stone. We'll work what's best for the class. All right. The big thing in passing chemistry, Do not fall behind. If you fall behind, it is extremely difficult to catch up. There are so many new concepts that are going to be coming at you. I'm going to put in a nice organized pattern, but there's so many new concepts going to be based on what you already know. It's going to be extremely difficult to catch up. So don't fall behind. If somebody's making you have it, if you have an emergency come up, call me, tell me, I'll send you some extra information to help keep you going. I'll work with you as best I can to make sure you don't fall behind. And ask questions. Like I said, never, ever be afraid to ask a question. You're paying for school. You're here. I'm here because you're paying to learn. If you understand something, ask me. That's why I teach. Okay. And like I said, if you're asking a question, it means you're listening to me, or else you wouldn't be able to ask the question. I skipped one. Read each chapter prior to class. Like I said, read through it, skim through it. Don't study it really hard because there's certain concepts you're not going to understand until I explain them. But it gives you an idea of what we're going to be talking about, which will help you out. Take notes, recopy notes if that's how you learn. Some people learn best on the computer. Some people are taking notes. Like I said, you can make the PowerPoints. I have PowerPoints already online. I'll show you where they're at for every lecture. You can print those out. If you want to print, go to the library. They'll print them out. You can sit down there with your PowerPoints on paper and listen to me talk and write notes directly on the PowerPoints. Some people like doing it on the computer, put notes right on their computer. That's fine too. However you learn best. Network with people, study groups. Don't be afraid to go into Zoom meetings. Y'all have access to Zoom. It's free. Get 3 or 4 of your friends that you know do really well and make a little meeting. Go through the homework assignments. Go through the problems. It'll help you deal with them with other people. You always do better when you have to explain it to somebody else. The best way to learn something is to teach it. Guarantee you. Attend office hours. Office hours are flexible. Like I said, you can always email me. We can set up a Zoom. We can set up a meeting place to go over stuff. Okay, whatever works for you guys. Study 12 to 14 hours outside of class and seek additional help. There's additional help posted on the modules. All right. That's the syllabus for the class. Any questions with that? Everybody good? All right. Now, I won't go to my iPad yet. Let's go to, all right, so there's our syllabus. Let's go back to our homepage. Okay. Everything in class is going to follow the modules right here. Everybody see the modules on this left-hand side. That's the most important tab on here, besides my contact information. Okay. Click on modules. That's going to lead you through the class. Okay. Did we do this already? Yeah, we went through the basic information. Yeah, we started this and then we went to the syllabus. Okay, we got down to syllabus. Additional, because we already finished syllabus. Okay, additional resources. Okay, the textbook, and there'll be a lot of there'll be some YouTube videos, things like that posted in the different chapters, different areas. I've brought things in there to help you with learning stuff. Those are additional resources. Okay, technical support. If you're having trouble with Canvas, these are the requirements you need for your browsers and for your computer to access Canvas. Most of you are going to have this information. Most of you are gamers. So your gaming computers work fine with Canvas. You got enough power to run Canvas. Okay. And if you have problems with that, if you have help with Canvas on our campus, this is the person to call right here, Lisa Larson. She is an absolute genius when it comes to Canvas. Okay. If you're having trouble with formatting something, or trouble with looking at something, give her a call. She's here for you. And she is good. Okay. She's the one I go to when I have trouble with Canvas. Okay. She will help you through it. And that's her number and her extension. She is working from home right now. And I just talked to her last week and she's been more than happy to help everybody. So that's your resource right there. All right. Chapter 10. This is how we start all our chapters. Okay. Every chapter is laid out the exact same way. I'm very consistent in what I do. So chapter 10 gives you the title, Introduction to Organic Chemistry. Gives you the picture in the book, so you know what chapter. Make sure if you're a visual learner, you look at the picture and go, yeah, I'm on chapter 10. Okay. These are the learning objectives, what this chapter is going to cover. These are important after you finish the chapter. Go back and look at them. and make sure you understand those things. That's what I'm going to base my exams off of. What we're supposed to learn when you look at the chapter. So don't look, at first it's fine to look at and see what we're going to cover, but when you're done with the chapter, go back and look at these objectives and say, yeah, I can do these. And if you can't, send me an email and say, I don't know how to do cis trans isomers of cycloalkanes. I don't know what that means. And then I'll show you. Okay. So after we're done with the chapter, after you do the quiz, go back and look at these learning objectives. And if you don't get one, send me a quick email and I'll make sure you understand it. Okay. After that, we have PowerPoint presentations. There's always something, brace yourselves, biochemistry is coming from, what's that show? Man, I'm drawing a blank on the show. Everybody knows that show.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. That's it. I should know it. It's filmed in Ireland where my daughter lives. And when some of these chapters, I have some pictures of where they filmed the Game of Thrones. So brace yourself, biochemistry is coming. Click the link below for the PowerPoint. If you click this link here, it will download a PowerPoint presentation for chapter 10. You can leave that on your computer and go through it as slides like I do when I lecture. You can print it out on a printer. So you'll have just print like 6 slides to a page. The library can do that for you. You can do it on your own. Okay. And that's your print. So all the PowerPoints are already on the computer. They're all on Canvas. Everything's all set. So you have every PowerPoint I'm going to talk about. My exams are going to come from my PowerPoints. That's where I get my information from. Okay. That's why I set up the PowerPoints. They're all going to come from my PowerPoints. So here's the PowerPoint. After you've gone through the PowerPoint, you click next. You click next. Uh-oh, I froze up here for some reason. There we go. Click next. And you'll have certain pages. Sometimes I do little additional pages to help you learn things. These are different concepts. These are alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes. And it's printed there twice. I don't know why it's printed there twice, but I'll fix that. Huh. And it tells you what they are. Alkanes are compounds, carbon-hydrogen compounds with single bonds. Alkenes are carbon-hydrogen compounds with a double bond. Alkynes are chemical compounds with carbon-hydrogen and a triple bond. That's what they are. Okay. And it goes through how we're going to name these things, what we're going to list. This is our naming chart. If there's one carbon, it's methyl or meth, ethyl, propyl, butyl, pentyl, hexyl, heptyl, octyl, nonal, and decade. Those are the first 10. Okay. Those are the prefixes we're going to use to tell us how many carbon molecules are in the compound. Okay. And I give you some examples, okay, of alkanes, alkynes, alkenes, and alkynes, okay, and how to name them. And after the first class, we're going to say this is hepta-1,3,5-triene as a compound, and it's C7H10. And like I said, and if you look at this, you can draw different ways. The structure here is C7H10, and you can make different isomers of that. That's what's important. And the different isomers will have a different name. Okay, so the name of this compound here is hepta-1,3,5-triene. Tells you where the bonds are, tells you where the carbons are. Okay, and we'll learn all this stuff. We'll learn what all these funny diagrams are here. All these line structures, like when you open up a drug from the pharmacy, you know, these funky line structures on there. We'll learn how to draw those and what they mean and how to do it in the different assignments. And again, name the following compound, and it breaks down how we name it. This one right here, all these different names. And it's just a way to help you. So this compound here, here's the name: 4-ethyl-6,6-difluoro 2,2,3,5 tetramethyl deca-3-ene 7-ine. Okay, and believe it or not, after 2 classes, you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to tell me exactly what that is, how to name it, and why it's different than everything else. The rules we're going to use are called with the IUPAC, International Union Pacific Applied Chemistry. They allow you to give a specific name to every chemical compound, and there's hundreds of thousands of organic compounds, and everyone can get a specific individual name by using this system. And we're going to learn how to do that. And this is just like a worksheet page to help you through. Sometimes I put those in. Okay. And then every chapter, I assign review questions. Okay. These do not get turned in. These are strictly for your information. I will take exam material from these review questions. Okay. These are ones I come out of my PowerPoint. Those are ones that are respective, follow PowerPoint. So chapter 10, again, this is edition 9. Chapter 10, questions 10, 11, 15, 17, 56, 16, all that. Those are review questions. Work through those questions. Again, we have a whole week for a chapter. You'll have time to work through things and understand things. That's what this class is going to be so nice to teach that way, because we're going to have time to do it right. It's not going to be rushed through. Okay, so here's your review questions. And the next page, I give you all the answers. The odd, even, everything. You don't have to worry about if it's odd or even. Work through the questions and then check your answers. If you don't match my answer, double check. I may be wrong. Usually I'm not, but sometimes I may be wrong. Okay. Send me an email, say, I don't agree with this answer or something if you can't figure out to get my answer. Okay. And we'll discuss it. You click next. Here's all the answers to every question. There's 10, 11, 15. Here's all the drawings you're going to be doing. Okay. Everything is set up and everything is listed. Odd, even numbers, everything. All the questions I asked, everything is labeled right there in one space. You don't have to go back to different parts of the book, look up the answers. Everything's right here on your computer for you. Okay, so you go through all the questions, you answer them all. And like I said, anyone you have trouble with, okay, email me and say, look, I don't get this, and I'll explain it to you. Okay, don't sit there and break your head over something just going over and over and not getting something. If you try it, you don't get the right answer, try it a couple more times, see if you can get what I get. If you can't, just send me an email, because I may be wrong. Okay, just send me an email. I'll look at it and I'll go, this is the way to do it. I'll explain it to you. Okay, we got plenty of time to make things right. Okay, so everything's on here. And then after you do all the questions, then you have the quiz. You click on the preview for the quiz, or you click on your answer. I think it says your preview, and these are your 5 questions right here, and just click on the right ones. And I'm just going to submit it, even though I'll get a 0. Okay. Okay. The quiz says click on the right answers, and if with my question, if there's more than one answer, the question will say so. If it does not say more than one answer is possible, do not select 2 answers or more. Okay. If there's 2 or more answers that are applicable, it will say it in the question. I'll ask the question, then it'll say more than one answer is possible. Then you give me more answers. It doesn't mean there's more than one, but it means there's more than one is possible. Okay. But if it does not say that, do not click on 2 answers. It will mark you wrong. Does that make sense, everybody? Especially on the midterm final. Do never click on 2 answers unless it says there's more than one answer. I will not trick you in that way. If there's more than one answer, it will definitely say it in the question. Okay, then you click on the next one, and it tells you what's right, what's wrong. You click on the next one, and chapter 11. We'll do the same thing. Repeat that all the way through chapter 23. And like I said, you can work at your own pace. You can work with me going along, keep track. You can get behind and try to catch up, which I do not recommend. Okay, but everything is open for you to go through. However you're comfortable working, I'll work with you to help you get a good grade and understand the material in this class. So far, so good. All right, let's read a couple little things here. That's basically how the class runs. And I think that's what I needed. Okay, so let me go back to here and let me turn on my iPad and go a couple little things I want to make sure you understand and make sure my iPad is onto the same network, which it is. Perfect. So okay, I always lecture from my iPad. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Everybody should see my iPad, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. Because when I lecture on an iPad, I can draw, I can make marks, and it's like I have a chalkboard in front of you, which is just like being in a classroom setting for me. So it makes it a lot more fun. I want to pull up. What do I want to pull up? Let's do. There's something blank I can come across and do some things on. Let's go to Chem 5. And I'm not finished with all these chapters, but we'll go to a couple of them. Just give me something I can draw on here, or I can have a blank screen for a little bit. Try to find something that's give me some room to draw on. Not really a whole lot here. Actually, let me do this. Edit. Can I add a new screen? No, it's not going to do it right. All right, let's just do it this way. This will be our introduction here. Let me mark on this. Okay, that's perfect. That gives me a nice screen. And that should give me a white screen. Everybody should see a white screen, right? Perfect.
Yep.
All right, what you're going to need to know from previous chemistry classes, you need to know how to balance equations. Okay, we're going to deal with glucose. So let's balance. Glucose is C6H12O6. Okay, in the body, it metabolizes, burns. Remember when we say burns or combusts, it means add oxygen. And when something combusts completely, who remembers from chemistry in my class what it combusts to?
Carbon.
What type of carbon? Perfect. CO2 for your
Yeah.
carbon plus H2O. That's really kind of fun. I'm not a very good artist, you can tell. Okay, so there's your equation. Is that balanced?
No.
No.
No, it's not, right? You got 6 carbons here. You got 1 carbon here. You got 12 hydrogens here. You got 2 hydrogens here. You have a total of 8 oxygen here. You have a total of 3 oxygen here. So there's 3 oxygens. There's 8 oxygens. There was 12 hydrogens. There's 2 hydrogens. There's 6 carbons. There is 1 carbon. Everybody see that, right? That equation is not balanced. So the balancing, and we'll be doing more comment fatty acids, triglycerides. Balancing is simple. It's just making sure there's the same number of elements on the left side as on the right side. You cannot create or destroy mass in this chemistry class. Okay? We're not going to do nuclear explosions or anything like that where we destroy mass. Hopefully, right? So you cannot create or destroy mass in chemistry. So the easiest thing to do, let me draw back out here. Oops, what did I do? What did I hit? I think I put my hand on the slide. So C6, H12O6 plus oxygen goes to carbon dioxide plus water. Easiest way to balance. Okay, there's 6 carbons on the left. So how do I make this side say 6 on the right?
Put a 6 in front of the C.
Perfect. Put a 6 in front of the CO2. Now this 6 applies to both the carbon and the oxygen. Okay, there's 6 CO2 molecules. So there's 6 carbon, there's 12 oxygens now. Okay, so there's a carbon. If the key to balancing an equation, if something's by itself, oxygen is alone, say that to last. That's a little hint that'll help balance any chemical equation. Okay, if it's by itself, balance it last. So there's carbon. So let's do hydrogen next. How many hydrogen on the left?
12.
So how do I make hydrogen? How do I make 12 hydrogens on the right?
6.
Perfect. Put a 6 in front of the H2O because there's 6 and there's 2 hydrogens each one of these molecules. So there's 12. So now the carbon's balanced, hydrogen balanced. Now we balance our oxygen. Okay. How many oxygen molecules are on the right-hand side now?
18.
18, perfect.
So you need 6 on the left side in front of the O2.
Right, because we got 12 here and 6. We got 18 oxygens. So over here we have to have 18. We already have 6, right? So that means we have to add 12 more. So how to make this say 12? We put a 6 right there. So there's your balanced equation. One, and they're in terms of moles. So 1 mole, because remember, chemical equations are always in terms of moles. Okay, they're not mass and anything else, they're in terms of moles. So 1 mole of glucose combines with 6 moles of oxygen to produce 6 moles of carbon dioxide and 6 moles of water.
1 mole plus 6 moles equals 6 and 6 moles.
Right. Well, 1 mole of glucose, okay, reacts with 6 moles of oxygen, and it produces 6 moles of CO2 and 6 moles of water. Because it breaks apart and forms new bonds. Okay. So when we use glucose in the body, it burns with oxygen. Oxygen is our nutrient. It burns in the presence of oxygen, and our waste is carbon dioxide and water. That's what's given off. Because when we breathe in, what do we breathe in?
Oxygen,
Oxygen. We breathe out. What do we breathe out?
carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide. Well, a little bit of carbon dioxide. We still breathe out oxygen. Okay. We don't breathe in oxygen, breathe out CO2. If that were true, CPR would not work. Okay? You breathe out a lot of oxygen. You breathe out more CO2 than normally when you inhale. So there's a higher concentration of it, but you still breathe out a whole lot of oxygen. Okay. CO2 is a minor amount, but you do get rid of waste by breathing out some CO2 with our oxygen. Okay. So let's balance another one here. Just see if I can clear that. There we go. Clear that. Well, I didn't clear that. I can do it this way and clear it. Let's do just a couple more examples here to get the point of this here as we're going around. Let's take butane from a lighter fluid. Butane is C4H10. That's butane. Okay, that's what's in lighter fluids. And we burn it. Burn presence of oxygen. Whenever you hear the word combust, it means add oxygen. Everything burns in the presence of oxygen. Oxygen is required for combustion. And it always gives you CO2 plus water. Okay. So where do we start?
Carbon.
Right, carbon, perfect. What do we say for last?
The O2.
Oxygen.
Right, save oxygen for last. So how many carbon on the left?
4.
4. So how do I make that say 4 carbon on the right?
4.
Put a 4 in front of the CO2. There's 4 carbon. Check our hydrogen. How many hydrogen on the left?
10.
Okay. How to make the hydrogen 10 on the right?
5.
Put a 5 in front of the water. Okay. Now I balance our oxygen. How many oxygen on the left-hand side?
2.
Nope.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
What was the question?
How many oxygen on the right-hand side?
Oh, on the right.
3.
14.
Nope. Nope.
8,
Oh, wait.
10, 11, 12, 13.
Yeah, 13, right? There's 8 here. And there's 5 here. So you got 13. Last time I checked, right? Yeah, it's 13.
Yeah.
Okay. So how to make the left side say 13?
You can't because it's an even number.
That's right. You got a problem. So what I do is I put 13 divided by 2, because 13 divided by 2 times 2 equals 13. Now I got 13 on this side. Now I can't leave it like that. It's just a secondary step so I can see that I'm balanced. So now how do I get rid of this 2? I multiply everything by 2. So I've got 2 butanes. I've got 13 O2s because 13 over 2 times 2 is 13. I got 8 CO2s times 2 there, and I got 10 H2O. Now I've got a balanced equation. Okay, you can't leave fractions. I can use fractions to have it set up so I know I'm going to balance as an intermediate step. And I get rid of the fraction by multiplying by 2 or multiplying whatever the numerator is. Okay, if we check it, we got 8 carbons here. I got 8 carbons here. I've got 20 hydrogens here. I've got 20 hydrogens here. I've got 13 times 2. I've got 26 oxygens here. I've got 8 times 2 is 16, and 10 is 26 oxygens here. And we're balanced. Okay. That's what we're going to have to be able to do for some other problems in our class, in this class. You do have to remember how to balance equations. Okay. If you have trouble with that, let me know. We can go over it. Not a problem. You just have to make sure you have the same number of elements of each type on the left side and the right side. You cannot create or destroy matter. We can't change elements into something else without a nuclear reaction. And we're not going to do nuclear reactions. Hopefully.
Can we do one more?
Sure. I can do these all night long. Let's click. How do I get, if I click done, click on back, go back. Well, go back. Well, still didn't do it. Get rid of it this way. I'm going to keep this screen because it's easy to write on. If I can just erase over it here. Oh, it's still erasing stuff. I think I froze up my iPad. It's going by itself now. Let's do another example. It's still doing stuff, so it's trying to catch up. Oh, okay. It's actually pretty easy to catch up now. Okay. Let's take sodium sulfate plus potassium nitrate goes to sodium nitrate plus potassium sulfate. I guess I'm not very artistic. Whoa. Potassium sulfate. All right, there's your equation. Sodium sulfate plus potassium nitrate goes to sodium nitrate plus potassium sulfate. You remember chemistry, there's a double replacement reaction. Okay, so how are we going to balance it?
That's NaNO3.
What's that?
The it's on the right side. It's NaNO3.
Right?
Is that what it says?
Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's an arrow right there. That's a reaction. NaNO3 and K2SO4. Sodium nitrate, potassium sulfate.
So you would put a 2 in front of the NaNO3,
Right. There's 2 sodiums here. Make 2 sodiums here.
then 2 in front of the KNO3.
Okay. Because you've got 2 Ks on this side. Now you have 2 Ks on this side. What else?
Is that balanced?
Looks like it's balanced to me. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got on the left side, there's 2 sodiums. On the right side, there's 2 sodiums. And you usually balance by groups, makes it easier. Or we can pull it apart. We got 1 sulfur. We've got 1 sulfur. We've got 2 potassiums. We've got 2 potassiums. We got 2 nitrogens. And we've got 2 nitrogens. Okay. And what's left? Oxygen, right? So how many oxygens are on the left side?
10.
Perfect. There's 10, right? There's 4 here and there's 6 here. So you have 10 oxygens. How many on the right side?
7.
10. We got 6 over here. We got 4 over here. And we're balanced. Perfect.
Is there ever going to be an occurrence where we can't balance the equation?
Is there gonna be a what?
Occurrence of where we can't balance the equation.
No. Every chemical reaction can be balanced. Some are a little more difficult than others, but they all can be balanced. Okay. The only way you have a non-balanced equation is if you do a nuclear reaction. Nuclear reactions actually change the element. We can create and destroy mass in nuclear reaction. That's why nuclear explosions are so powerful, because we're using the power of the atom. We're actually changing the protons inside the atom. That's where we get such a massive explosion. Okay. We're not going to do massive explosions in this class. Okay. Everything's going to balance. We're not going to pull out nuclear equations on this one.
Okay.
Okay. So there's balancing. You want me to get another example, or we got this? Anybody want another one? All right. Now, let's be on there. Let's do this whiteboard. All right. What else I want to talk? I want to talk about oxidation. Just a couple of things, and we'll call it an early night here. Okay, oxidation reactions. Oxidation reactions always, and I very rarely say always, because usually there's always exceptions. Okay, I hardly ever say always. When I say always, pay attention. Oxidation reactions always occur with reduction. If a compound is being oxidized, the other one is being reduced. It has to be. Their electron has to go somewhere. Okay. Whenever you have oxidation, you will have reduction. Oxidation is the loss of electrons. Reduction is the gain of electrons. When we're dealing with organic chemistry, our reactions are going to be oxidation is going to be adding oxygen. If we take a alkene, a hydrocarbon, let's put CH3, C double bond C, CH3. There's a hydrogen, there's a hydrogen. Okay. And we're going to add water to that, H2O. Okay. And that's really hard to see, huh?
Yeah.
I should write it clear. Let's see if I can make it clearer. So we can make it, at least you can understand it here. If I take a heart, like let's say C, oh, come on. H10 plus oxygen. Okay. Oxidation also means adding oxygen. Okay. We're going to add, oh man, I want to add H2O. Okay. Plus water goes to C4 H. Where are we at? I have to do this for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. H9OH. That's how you usually write it, C4H9OH. Or you can write it C4H10O. Same thing. We'll write that for functional groups. Okay, so this is a product. This is what we have. Okay. What was my point? So if this compound has been oxidized, you've added oxygen. So if we've taken a carbon compound and gone to carbon with an OH, this is an alcohol. Alcohols have an OH anyway. We'll get into that. But this has been oxidized. Oxidized in chemistry is a 0 with brackets around it. If I oxidize this one, I can oxidize what's called a carboxylic acid. Double bond O. Man, I'm having a hard time drawing on this thing for some reason today. OH. Again, that's been oxidized. Okay, so we took a carbon hydrogen compound, we made it into an alcohol, which means you add an oxygen. So that's been oxidized. Something else is going to be reduced. Okay, we took the alcohol here, the OH, and put on 2 oxygens to make it an acid. Okay, that's been oxidized. That's what we're doing with oxidation and reduction in organic chemistry. We're increasing the amount of oxygen in the compound. Okay.
I'm sorry, one more time. What is the brackets around the O again?
I'm not by the computer, so I'll come back in it. Thanks. What's that?
What was the brackets around the O again?
The brackets around the O, when you see this, that means oxidation has occurred.
So in the drawing with the atoms on the right, it's the second or the middle one is a alcohol and the last one is an acid.
Right. This is a hydrocarbon, carbon hydrogen. This is an alcohol, has an OH. This is a carboxylic acid.
Okay.
Those are functional groups, and we'll go over the functional groups and how to name those and how to do that. But when you see compounds adding oxygen to them, that is called oxidation.
Okay.
Remember, in chemistry, we had to add oxidation numbers and things like that. We had to count them all up. This is oxidation.
I'm a little rusty. I'm going to be honest because I took chemistry like 7 years ago.
Okay, no problem. Like I said, there's some of the stuff we do, like balancing equations. I just want you to know what it is when we talk about it.
Okay.
Okay. But if you can understand, oxidation is you're adding oxygen to the compound that's being oxidized. Okay. And then oxidation always occurs with reduction. They're called redox reactions.